All right, the conversation continues here on Daybreak. Sexual harassment is our topic. Before we went on break, I had read a few of the feedback that we've been receiving. Let me read one more, which will guide us into the next part of this conversation. Amati, you're watching from Kisii. You say this issue of sexual harassment starts with the dressing code of our ladies, which leads men to turn wild to them. And in the side of social media, Wasani mostly expose nude pictures while performing, which influence these young ladies to behave the same way, hence leads men to hashtag Daybreak. All right, one more. I condemn sexual harassment, but also the same way ladies, but also the same way ladies wear, especially exposing their thighs, prepares men for sex. Avril, would you want to go take a lead on this one?
Me, you know what I'm going to say. During the break, I asked a question. As in, does it take that such a small thing for you to be aroused? Surely. There's no self-control. Is that what we're trying to say? Are we trying, actually, I'll pose that question to Amati and the other guy who just sent that message. Are you trying to tell me that you have no self-control within yourself? You want to tell me you'll just see a chick like this with a short skirt and, oh my God, I have to get... Really? Is that what we are saying that Kenyan men have become? That is my question. That is my question.
Yes, bouncing off of that, I think we need to recognize that, consent aside, because I do not want to turn it into legal speak, respect is very important. And the fact that a person, it starts with not respecting this person, because respect means if I tell you no, you respect me as a human to hear my no and treat my no as valid. So when a man says the way you're dressed turns me wild, it means there is no respect there. You're not viewing me as a human being. I am only an object to you. Exactly. Therefore, I am there to fulfill a desire. Right. Exactly. Also, men constantly say they are the stronger sex, they are the ones with all the control, but then you cannot be strong and weak at the same time. You need to pick a side.
I mean, we have a man here, so MC Jessy, let's hear your view. I mean, it's 2019, do we need to be giving dress code as a reason for sexual harassment? Surely. There are children who don't dress like that if they're sexually harassed. We have seen our Muslim sisters and nuns that are also sexually harassed, yet their dresses are knee length. I mean, they're all the way down. I mean, and there's also the question of men also having to control themselves, because even as women, we're also sexual beings. I mean, we were talking, if Idris Elba was to walk in right now shirtless, you would see us jumping on him, but if it's a woman, even now it favors them.
Even me, if I walk here
if you came here shirtless, would we jump on you? Would then be, and then I tell you, no, you came in here in shorts, I could see your legs, and me, by the way, when I see hairy legs, that's how it. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Okay, first of all, talking about the harassment to minors, you know, the minors, we cannot debate that. We cannot debate about a minor dressed in this manner, so you're feeling sexually aroused. Apana, ukiona mwanaume anafanya hivyo, that's a pervert. Right. Like there's no, we cannot even discuss it. Okay. This child, amevaa shorts, it's a 13-year-old ameenda kuswim. No. We cannot debate.
Okay, let's remove children from the equation. Yes. Dress code in itself.
Sasa watu wazima. Yes. Avril and Mimi. Sindio, okay. An example.
As an example.
Yes. First of all, ukivaa umeteremsha hapa kidogo, you know, unaonyesha na huku nyuma umebarikiwa, and you're showing those things. Yes, they arouse men. But it doesn't mean that this man needs to jump on you. If it's your man, yes, he is allowed to jump on you. If he's your man, he's allowed to jump on you. If it's someone hitting on you,
he's not allowed to jump on me. That's another point that we're making. And sexual harassment also happens in relationships.
Marriages.
No. And in marriages.
Yes. It's okay in marriages, they happen. Marital rape are there and all. But what is the cause of that? Wewe ukiolewa, Kiswahili chasema hivi, ukikubali kuolewa, and this one goes to women, okay? With all due respect, ukikubali kuolewa, kubali kulala bila chupi. Kuna msemo kama huo?
No, the humanity of a person does not go away by virtue of coming into marriage. You have to consent to having sexual relations, even with your husband. By the fact that I have married somebody does not mean that, no, consent is not a given
overall
blanket
because I signed
during the marriage by from the time of marriage till death do us part. No.
How many years have you been married?
I am not married. This is what the law says. No.
There's the law. There's the law and there is the marriage.
Give us no, but then the law comes in.
Sheria.
You see, mapenzi, when you're forcing someone, it's not love.
No, we are not talking of forcing. We are saying, I was responding to what Zinzi had asked about the way you're dressed and your man. Okay? The law has given you consent to make love to your, it's not even sex, it's making love to your partner. Okay, we're talking of, if we talk about sex, it's making love to your partner. Avril, when you get married, you've given consent. Your body no longer belongs to you. Even the Bible says so. You are now one, okay? And if it comes to the issues of making love, you have to agree. Love making does not begin in the evening in the bed.
That's the point.
Hey baby, have a beautiful day. Saa saba umekula nini, uko aje nini. Alafu by evening, hata we uko na mahanjam. Lakini
so
this
maybe the
issue of no is no, as you were saying, where does no come in? In marriage, try and not put in those issues of no. Understand each other, fall in love, and crave for each other.
Maybe the word you use
jumped. You don't think that there are individuals in marriages who find themselves in that are also sexually abused in marriages, in relationships?
Then they should not be married, because marriage, sex is part of it. Like even my pastor says, a crack in bed is a crack in marriage. If the bed is defiled, that's it. Like lazima hapo kukuwe na changamoto, kukuwe na yaitwaje, kukuwe na mhemko, natafuta wadi ya Kiswahili ya kuchangamsha. That if the bed is not hot, if it's not a hot bed, my friend, your marriage will fail. Sex is an essential part of marriage. I'm not saying it's everything,
yes,
but it is an essential part of it.
I mean,
if it's good, my friend, you will enjoy life.
I think we all agree that sex is important in marriage, but even in marriage, when do we draw that line between sex and which is consent that you've agreed you and your wife, you know, but also what if I'm just not in the mood?
You're not in the mood. That's why I'm saying akunanga kitu kama I'm not in the mood. That being not in the mood, I think is a woman perspective of saying sijiski, because mimi sijai kuwa not in the mood.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah, like you should Zinzi, you get married soon. You should not toa hiyo maneno ya you not be in the mood. Hizo maneno, it's because maybe if you're angry with your husband, mwambie, I'm not happy with you. I don't like you talked to Cynthia yesterday. I'm not happy. You see, you've already stated clearly why you're mad and why you're saying no. Lakini without a reason to say no.
All right, let's turn the point. Let's turn it the other way around. So what if you're the one who is mad? If my husband is the one who is mad and it's like, I'm not in the mood, but I'm in the mood, so I also have the right to ask.
We are never not in the mood as men.
Okay, hiya, sawa. And I feel like we need to discuss this other side of this. So listen to this tweet I came across, right? Pedophiles aren't just 40-year-old men who prey on primary school children. They're also your best pals who are 19 and are trying to get with a 15-year-old.
Yes, I think that's a very important point, because I have a friend who teaches me a lot. We have many conversations about women's issues, and one of the things we are learning is that evil is very banal. It's not the person. A rapist is not like the typical rapist we have in our heads is a person who is shaggy in the street in the dark, who is not, but a rapist is a respectable person. It is an uncle, it is a father, it is a friend. So once we start realizing that anybody can perpetrate these vices, then we start even taking the conversations we have with our friends into consideration, so that I will stop my friend at the point of we are hanging out and he's hitting on a 15-year-old girl, because that makes him a pedophile at that point, because it doesn't have to be a 65-year-old man who is homeless and on the street. No, it can be anybody. Which is why we get so shocked when it's pastors, when it's priests, because we expect them to be above this. But no, we need to realize that anybody can do this.
Right. MC Jessy, let me come back to yours again. This issue of, we also need to talk to our boys, you know, majama. You know, when you see one of your boys who is 20 dating a 16-year-old or trying to go after a 16-year-old, that you need to tell them that's not acceptable?
Yes, they actually do. Because as a 19-year-old, who do you expect them to be hanging around with? A 16-year-old, a 17. And those are minors. However, if you look at the context of age, they're actually age mates. A 19-year-old is a legal person, that's an old person. Hanging out with a 17-year-old. A 17-year-old is a minor. A 16-year-old is a minor. But they are sort of age mates. Because when they are old, like when this guy will be 2025, this young girl will be still the person they'll be hitting on, or maybe she'll get an older guy than the guy,
right?
Than this particular boy. However, as I was saying earlier, if you teach your children as a parent, you start the conversation about sex, they will also understand. This 16-year-old girl will understand that I'm not yet even legal. You see, in other countries, a 16-year-old is a legal person to even engage in sex. Some countries. But in Kenya, it's not. However, if you don't let them know who they are and what they stand for and what they are supposed to do in such cases, don't expect them to protect themselves. They are vulnerable. And these conversations start at home, first of all. As a parent, we even have had parents who abuse their children. Okay. They do, but they need to be taught from home, going on to school, because now the parents have become, the teachers have become the predators of
the prey.
The children have become prey, and then
the teachers have become predators. Yeah, so you need to talk to your child.
Avril, before I even come to you, so you can weigh in your matter on this. The follow-up tweet that came is, to people who are like, my mom and dad are 12 years apart, 4 years is nothing. Your mom and dad are adults. It's legal and ethically okay. There's a difference between that and an adult taking advantage of a child of who can't even consent yet. So the issue is not even age, as we have just discussed. You can be 20, 25. We've seen marriages where, there's a difference of 12 years. The issue is not marriage. Because by the time you're getting married, you are considered an adult by law. But it's now within that, young adult age. And the example we've given is a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Yeah. But it's all about age, I feel. And it's also about consent, yeah? I've seen situations where a 60-year-old or even a 50-year-old getting married to a 20-year-old. That's 30-year-old. There's a gap of about 30 years old. But love is love, right? But then again, I think
love is love.
Love is love, but there needs to be a conversation.
You see, R. Kelly today is facing a lot
charges,
of sexual charges and all. And now I was listening to another interview he did on CBS, and he's a 52 or something, above 50, and he lives with 20-something-year-old girls. Do you know, to some extent, I think it's not right. A man who is 40 years and a girl who is legal, over 18, a 20-year-old girl and a 40-year-old man, they don't reason the same.
That's the thing.
There's
some girls who will mature really early, right? And they can actually not stand a person. This is actually now taking to another side. The girls who cannot stand being around their age mates because they don't think they're the same way. I'm very sure, for instance, someone like a dear lawyer here will probably not even date a person who's around her own age group, because she's like me. I need to reason. I need someone who can reason on a certain level, and that brings that person to dating someone who's a bit older than her. But this is not usually the same with guys. Many relationships have guys dating chicks who are younger because, one, they want a sense of control.
Can I just
we want a baby girl.
I think the important thing here is power, because sexual harassment is about power. It's an exercise of power to the detriment of the person being harassed. So that this person is with R. Kelly, is with this girl because he used his power and influence as an artist to tell her, I will give you this, but only if you sleep with me. that is harassment. So that even the relationship itself is built on an exploitation of his power and position of trust. Yes. So that where there is no exploitation, because I believe that relationships with age gaps can happen, where there is true consent, where this person is not holding your career, your life, or money over you, or anything over you, then it's okay. Which is why you have to consider the case on a case-by-case basis. What is okay, basically, there should be no exploitation in the relationship.
It's okay. My thinking is this. You are a young, upcoming lawyer.
Yes.
Do you know if you date a 40-something lawyer, he'll take advantage of you?
No, necessarily.
No. Let me finish this before you judge me. What I mean is this. Exploitation comes whereby there is one that is superior than you when it comes to mind, and he knows what you lack. I'm okay if an older guy dates a younger girl, but there's that age gap that is too big that
it's questionable.
It's questionable. Borders between exploitation and actually falling in love. Because as an older guy, I know so much. If I date a 20-year-old girl, trust me, she knows nothing. So I'm taking advantage of her not knowing. To some extent, I think it borders exploitation. Young girls, if you talk to small girls, okay, let me put it this way. If you talk to young girls who are over 18, okay, but below the age of 23, 22 there, they don't my goodness, if you're a man, you'd understand. Like, you would see how you can even take advantage of them. But it is upon you as a man to decide, do you want to take advantage of this 20-year-old girl, or you'd rather date someone you can reason on the same level. Okay, so an older man, 40s, dating a 20-something-year-old, it borders around exploitation, because this girl does not know the things you know, and when you come in there to become like a father figure, she will trust you and she'll do anything you want.
All right, we have a caller. Lucy, good morning. Lucy, you are calling in from Jogo Road. How are you this morning?
I'm fine.
All right. Please, thank you so much for calling in and being part of this conversation. Do you have any question, comment? What is your feedback?
I'd like to say that, okay, you have some university students who claim to be on discussion groups. Like one whom I know of was sexually abused by a friend. So that night, they were supposed to hold a discussion at that friend's place, but then some said that they are going for other forms in other places. But then when that girl went there, she only knew that she's going for a discussion group.
Right, Lucy, first of all, could you speak up just a little bit louder?
I'm saying,
yes,
I have a friend who told me of her friend who was sexually abused by a fellow student.
Yes.
Because they used to hold discussion groups in their hostel. So at that particular time, her other group mates, they say that they are going to other places to do other businesses. But as for her, she went to that guy's hostel, claiming that she had gone for a discussion because her mind was there, they are having a discussion. So that guy started harassing her. Okay, for her, it was a bit uncomfortable, but lucky enough, she got to escape. So I think it all starts with how discussions are made, and for university students, I don't think that they should be held at private places. Maybe go to a lounge or a library where you can hold a discussion to stop this sexual harassment being in universities or even unwanted pregnancies. Because after all that, when you get pregnant, you go give birth, you throw the baby away, or you abort and die.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Lucy, for calling in and sharing your friend's experience. Let me begin with you, Millicent, on that note, because you are a student, a law student, and she was talking about how one of her friends was abused by a fellow student. And that leads me to a question that we were asking earlier, catcalling. It still happens, it's still quite popular. How is it at university level, and how are girls at that level handling catcalling?
Okay, I cannot say it's not happening. It is, However, the important thing for institutions of learning, universities, schools, whatever, is to have reporting mechanisms. Because if it's a student, this is a person I am in class with, this is a person I have to see every day. So there must be very good reporting mechanisms in place where people can go and say, this is what is happening to me, and it can be kept anonymous and be dealt with at the same time. Because the same way it's happening on the street, we cannot say it's not happening in school.
Is there a right way, Avril and Jessy, to respond to catcalling? Is there a right way to respond to that? Or even, let me even take it further. How do you respond to if you a sexual gesture in public, if someone touches you in the wrong way in a matatu, in a lift, when you're making a line at the grocery store? How do you respond to that? Is there a right way? Do you just flare up?
Maybe known to slap a couple of people.
Oh,
As in, and this is something that even happens in some schools. Yeah, I will not mention the school, but there's a school I went to, and I was performing. And then after the performance, I came, say hi to fans, and there's this boy who came and just decided to grope me. I held his hand, and I pulled him, and he tried running away because he was doing it in the midst of all these people, so he thought that he could run away from it. And this is like a 13, 14-year-old, who was such a small boy, to a point that I even looked at him and I was like, no, this one, if I beat this one, won't I get a problem? So I grabbed his hand and I asked him in his face, what did you just do? Because again, as an elder, I need to tell him that this is not okay. What you just did is not okay. Some people choose to ignore. Some people choose to blow it out of proportion and everything. But I choose to sit down with you and ask you, do you think it's right? What you just did, do you think it's right? And we had a conversation about it, and he apologized and he moved away. But if it's someone who's a bit older, very much me, Vita, tutapigana.
Tutapigana. All right, Jessy?
I don't think such acts are from real men. As a man, just go and talk to this girl. Hi, Avril. How you doing? And Avril, kukatiwa is not sexual harassment.
It's flirting.
Kukatiwa, even flirting is not sexual
that's okay.
harassment. Like
that's
I
okay.
tell you, hey, you're looking gorgeous today. That's flirting. Your hair looks beautiful. Hey, your eyes, hey. That's flirting, but it's not sexual harassment. But touching you, like physically touching you, that is harassment.
Can I ask him a question?
As a man.
Go ahead, yes.
Can I ask you a question? Where does the flirting stop and the sexual harassment start? Because I feel like someone can actually be sexually harassed through texts.
Yes. Verbally and non-verbally.
Yes, sexual harassment comes whereby you are not willing to participate. Like I cannot be sending text to you, sexual text, and you're not responding, and I'm still there. I don't, that's a pervert.
So do you accept, or do you agree with me that to a point, flirting can get to a point where it starts becoming sexual harassment? And where is that point? If I'm not responding to you and you keep on sending me these messages.
That's harassment. Even just normal text without response, that's harassment. Like if I keep texting Zinzi, hey, hi Zinzi, I need you to get me an interview on Citizen Radio now. And then she's like, and then she's not responding. I keep texting her and like, come on, you work there at Royal Media. Kwani, what's wrong with you? That's harassment.
That's harassment.
It may not be sexual, but it's still harassment. So what I'm saying with texting is, flirting is whereby both of you are doing it. Like, hey Avril, hi Jessy, I really liked your eyes today during the interview. And your chest. You see, we participate. That's flirting. And that one, of course, it's leading towards a sexual act.
All right. Before we take one caller, I want to read a text, and it's to specifically Avril and Jessy, because on this table you're formerly the parents that we on this table. Listen to this. Good morning, Citizen. I'm Catherine from Kahawa West, and I have a question on today's topic: sexual harassment. Can parents' behavior at home contribute to a child's sexual mentality? Like, is it good to kiss and hug in front of your children? I'll let you think about it as we take a caller. Wycliffe, good morning. You're calling in from Nairobi. How are you?
Good morning, Citizen.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes. What's your contribution to the conversation?
Now, concerning sexual harassment.
Come again?
Concerning sexual harassment.
Yes.
I can call this a generational cut. Because I remember when we were growing up, these issues were never relevant as it is now. We were taught on how to live with people and gender, right?
Yes.
whether you are a lady or a man, there's a way you could respect the other party.
Okay.
So, the way things are right now, the current situation of things is the parents have left their kids to their house girls.
Yes.
You've had cases whereby a house girl sexually accuses a boy child in the house.
Yes.
And this boy will never talk about it because the house girl is the one who spends more time with him than the mother or than the father. So the boy has more trust with the house girl than the parent. The parent leaves at 6, comes back at 9. You'll find them at Jama, taking coffee with their laptops as they are working. It's all about work than their children. And when we were growing up, a child was a community kind of responsibility, whereby if you are met on the streets by your teacher, or with another parent who's your neighbor who knows your family, you're standing with a boy or a girl, you disappear to the forest because you know he will beat you up, report to your parents that you're misbehaving. Look at the way things are right now. You'll find that a girl or a boy bringing a boy, someone comes to pick her or him from home. That, hi, it's saying, let's go out for fun, do what birthdays and all those things. What happens out there? You could not come to my mother's house or my father's house calling me, let's go out for this. You could not go to your girlfriend's home, visiting her in the presence of their parents, that let's go out.
Right.
These things were never.
Right. All right, thank you.
The parent has messed up the current generation.
All right, thank you so much, Wycliffe. That's Wycliffe who is calling in from Nairobi. You can tell for him the biggest thing is he's talking about parents leaving their kids with a nanny and you come back at night. And then what happened to the issue of community, you know, raising a child as a village. But let me come back to what I had asked earlier, which is what one of our viewers has asked. Is it okay to hug and kiss in front of children? How does parents' behavior contribute to that, Avril?
Personally, I feel like PDA is okay.
In front of children.
Public displays of affection, but to a limit. Yeah? A peck is not bad. I kiss my son goodbye every day, and I'll kiss the father, as in gladly by the and show him that public displays of affection are okay, but to a limit. I'll not kiss him on the lips and go all ham and, you know, and crazy in front of the child.
Right.
PDA is okay, but I feel like it has to be to a limit.
All right, Jessy?
Affection can be expressed in many ways. There's a difference between affection and making out.
That's the thing.
Okay, so if you're a parent,
right,
and you have, you have children around, be careful of what you're doing, as a man especially, what you're doing to your wife in front of your children. Don't let your wife dress up in booty shorts and she's cooking and you're there like, hey baby, hey baby, and your children are watching. Trust me, they are registering that, and to them sex will be like, it's okay.
All right, I'm afraid that this conversation has to come to an end, so I'm going to ask for closing remarks, starting with Avril. But for Jessy, I want this one to be directly to you. How do we begin to encourage men and boys to start talking about their own sexual harassment, for them to come out and feel like this is a safe space, that they can also talk about any sexual acts that they've gone through, to also help other boys who are sexually abused? That's gonna be your closing remark, because as the man on this table. But let me begin with Avril.
First, conversation. I cannot stress this enough. As parents, let's talk to our children. As people who are also in society, in terms of being elders in society, let's talk, let's have those conversations. Not just have conversations, let's all listen to what our children are saying. Let's listen to what our girls are talking about. Let's be responsible with our conversations around our children. To filmmakers, to people who do music, let's also be a little bit responsible as well. Gone are the days where we'd say, oh, you know what, I'm not a role model. You are a role model. Unfortunately, you are. And again, I know this is going to bring back a lot of whatever, oh yes, the pictures that usually go online, but you, the person who's distributing these pictures, what was your intention? Yeah? Right. Because we'll go back to, recently there was a photo that was that went viral of one of the female artists in Kenya. She was performing at an event. The event was for 18 plus. The person who chose to take the photo and put it online, huyo ndo akona makosa. Yeah? Right. The person who went to perform at a place where it was acceptable for her to perform in a certain way, that was okay, yeah? And you were supposed to be a certain age to be able to go and enjoy such kind of entertainment. But when you take that entertainment from that setting where it was actually acceptable and put it into a place where a young person can be able to view it, then you are the one who's at fault.
All right, Jessy.
Teach your children in the ways of the Lord, and they grow, they shall not depart from it. Teach your children from when they are young, and when you're grown, you'll be able to interact with these children. The ones raising boys, talk to them. The single mothers that are raising boys, get for them a father figure, your brother. You can't tell me in your family you're all girls. Then your father, if he's still there, let him talk to your child. The grandfathers, they are the best teachers also. And if you have your children, they are already grown, boy child, talk to them, begin the conversation. I was talked to when I was about 13, and it's my uncles who talked to me. And the society, the Meru society, you know, we still live in age sets and age groups. The men also spoke to me. I was not taught when I was a small boy, when I was 2. But when I was growing up, 13, 14, 15, I had men around me.
Right.
And
So
it changed me.
Homework for men. Men talk to other men.
Men
talk
to other men, talk to boys.
All right, Millicent.
I think the most important thing is to believe victims. When people speak out, because one of the things that keeps people from speaking out is that people do not believe them, so they constantly have to explain themselves, so that when someone comes out, believe them, help them report. If you are the brave one, take the brunt for that person. Help them get the right authorities involved, especially in employment situations. Get HR involved, get anybody who can involved. So believe victims.
All right, thank you so much. That is Millicent Obanke. She is a law student and clearly someone who is very passionate about women's rights. We also had MC Jessy, an award-winning TV personality, a comedian as well, and as a businessman. Avril, she's a contemporary musician, an actress, and also a business lady. Before we take a commercial break, let's take a look at feedback. All right, this is Seth. You say, we lose the discussion when we are made to believe that sexual harassment is all about teachers and students. The problem is bigger than that, than the number of teachers dismissed. All right, that's the issue of about 1,077 teachers who have been expelled for love affair, but let's call it what it is. It's sexual harassment. This is an anonymous one. Good morning. I want to say that people who take part in the sexual harassment are individuals, not a group. If a pastor does that, it's not all pastors. Same applies to teachers, police, and relatives. The ill treatment is individual, and such people should be given severe punishment. Okay. More SMSs. Viola from Kitengela, you're saying parents need to be a role model, but instead we're too busy looking for money, yet the children are spoiled. Too sad. All right, let's take another one. All right, this is Vet from Kiambu. You say hi there. Good morning to you too. Sex education should be given more emphasis both at home and at school. Unfortunately, the internet is introducing our children to sex and they become tempted to try it. It demands we come up with a very wise strategy anyway. Adults sexually abusing children must be punished. Okay. Now let's turn over and take a look at tweets. The hashtag was Daybreak. That was your ticket into the conversation. All what you say, imbalance in relationship. Older men versus younger women is mainly a power dynamic. Men are socialized to create a locus of control, and sometimes women younger, you put it in brackets, are a chattel for such. They marry down while women marry up. That's how it is, and it has always been. Let's take a look at the second last tweet. Eva, you say moral decay in our society is the main cause of sexual harassment. Women and girls being the main victims. Hashtag Daybreak. The last one. Okay, this one says, now this is what I call to putting things into perspective. Good question to ask men. Sex in human being is rational. Hence, the importance of sex control. The good question, which men will never answer for it, will expose their weaknesses. Of course, I was doing the conversation of dress code versus sexual harassment. Hashtag Daybreak was a ticket into the conversation.